Well, hello and welcome to the Mindset Mentor on Sauga 960 AM. Happy Saturday morning. I hope you're having an absolutely phenomenal day today. Well, I tell you, what we're going to do is help you discover your greatness. Yes, it is within, it is there, and my special guest today is going to help you find it. And I think one of the problems is for a lot of people is that we tend to get stuck in the daily stresses. Life passes by. We forget our passions, our dreams, what we're good at, what we're great at. And we live a life that causes us to really fall short of living to our full potential. And this is not why we're here, to suffer and to not live our best lives. We are here to live our best lives. And wait until you hear my guest story. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's Dr. Jussi Eerikainen, and his story is absolutely remarkable. Well, first of all, he is, an acclaimed mathematician. He's a physician. He's an expert in the field of energy medicine and neuroplasticity. So a wealth of knowledge, but he has also taken personal experience, trauma from the age of 10 years old. Listen to the story. He witnessed his parents being murdered. And in that suffering, in that, severe traumatic experience, he had the wherewithal to really take that experience, even as a 10-year-old boy, and take the good and transform his life. And truly that experience was, the trajectory for his entire life. It changed the trajectory of his life. And, when you really start to understand that you have the power within to really change your thoughts, your beliefs, and your patterns, you really can take control of your life. So we're going to get deep into the conversation and the wealth and vast knowledge that Dr. Jussi has to really help you discover your greatness. And he is such an inspiration, and it's my true honor to welcome Dr. Jussi to the show. Such a pleasure to have you joining me here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tania. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and it's a real treat for me. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know your big mission and your big purpose in life is really to transform lives around the world, which, I want to acknowledge you for already doing that in such a massive way. And sharing your knowledge. So again, thank you for the work that you have been doing and continue to do through your clinical practice, and also just through your courses and your programs. I'd love to delve into some of those. So let's start with what is your definition of greatness? I mean, we're all trying to live a good life, a better life, and we're striving for something, but oftentimes we don't even know what that is or what that looks like.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a great question. Because we have inside of us the potential to be great. But what is greatness? Okay, many people believe that we are, in essence, the image of God. Many people think, independently of the kind of spirituality that they have, that we have the potential inside of us. And this potential marks the kind of genius that we have. Every single human being has a genius inside. The challenge for us is how to discover that genius that is inside. It doesn't matter how low or how tragic or how difficult your life is, you always have the potential inside to become somebody else. The challenge for us, because I don't like to use problem.
Yes.
I like to use something more positive, like a challenge. The challenge for us is to discover our purpose in life, because I believe that there are two dates that are the most important dates in life: the moment, the day you were born, and the day you discover why you are here. The moment you discover why you are here, you are beginning to discover greatness within. Of course, we have a lot of um, challenges that are preventing us to discover that easy. So we have to learn to discover who we are in reality. And so that's the main idea at the beginning.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. And, I think so many people are walking around really not tapping into that greatness and yearning for more. So I would really love to go back in time if we could and talk about your experience as a 10-year-old boy witnessing, a truly terrifying and traumatic event and how you were able to overcome that, because your story is such an inspiration. And anybody listening to that would be thinking, wow, like how is it possible to overcome severe challenges? But your story really is the true testament that yes, it is possible and you can live your greatness. So if we can go back in time to 10-year-old Dr. Jussi.
Yeah, it was probably spoiled child in a sense, because my father was an engineer, and we are from Finland, and he was hired by a British company in Colombia, South America, and so we were kidnapped by the guerrilla because they thought that we were gringos, Americans. And
Americans
so
with a lot of money, is that kind of
yes,
yeah,
or
belief?
the hated Americans because in those years communism had hit in many minds, and so people thought that the Americans were um, really nuisance for communism because of the policies that the United States had at the beginning of the 50s. I guess that was the thing. Okay, anyway, we were kidnapped, and without any more questioning or doing anything, they were killed before my eyes, just probably a few meters from where I was. And of course, they don't kill children if they can, because the idea is to brainwash them.
Mm.
And so I was in that campment in the middle of nowhere, and the cook, who was a lady probably in the middle of age, probably, she really felt compassion for me, and the lover of her was one of the probably right hand of the main leader there in that campment.
Mhm.
So they arranged certain things for me to escape from there. And so she told me, uh, please don't ask too many questions. I'm going to help you to escape from here. But you have to do exactly to the better letter of what I'm going to tell you. You have to follow these instructions if you really want to be safe.
Mm.
Well, I
Wow.
was speechless completely.
Mhm.
And then the moment, the day and the night was pointed, became, and so there was a and storm and lightnings and things like that. And well, anyway, it was not in
Scary.
perfect conditions.
Scary for a 10-year-old. I mean, did you understand the severity of the situation and what that meant, being in this camp, and now having an opportunity to escape? Did that
Yeah.
opportunity present itself as a really positive thing, or did you kind of feel like you wanted to stay back?
No, I feel I felt that that was an opportunity for me,
Mm-hmm.
and so the my goal was to be aware away from this situation, because it was totally, in humane situations,
Yeah, yeah.
and so it was quite welcome in a sense by me, that of course somehow I was not too conscious of what was happening really, because I was not well nourished, and
Mm.
I was still in shock in a sense.
Yeah, of course.
And even though it was more than 15 days from that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And well, of course, I followed the instructions, and the idea was to hide myself in a specific place. It was a hollow tree with a little bark inside. So I
Mm-hmm.
went over there and stayed put for I don't know how many hours until certain situation and certain things were conform. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of a sudden I saw a little frog, inside and was jumping, and of course I didn't want that, and so I was
Trying to shake him
shaking
off.
my hand,
Yeah.
and the more I shook, yeah, my hand jumping on my shoulder, and 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 it was playing. It just was playing. That little creature was playing, and then
Oh.
I realized in that moment was an aha moment that came to me that fear was inside of me. Not the frog was not fearful. Fear was inside of me, and somehow I decided to say, well, I give fear 10 seconds or whatever to
Yeah.
to leave. And after that, I felt completely sure. I knew that I was free in that moment, even though I was in in that
Still trapped in a
same
tree
position, and
inside. Yeah.
etc. Yeah. And so
Jeez.
I push away the bark that
Mm-hmm.
I was covered with, and you know I just walk away. I didn't know where, but anyway, I went down because it was a little bit slope, so I went down,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how many hours I was walking or whatever, but I was with a lot of peace. I don't know. I felt so tranquil. I felt so release.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sense that is impossible to have words, especially when I was that little, to describe. And so I then I saw a little home, and so I went there, and people there helped me to go uh, to Bogota again, and the
Mm-hmm.
rest is history. And
Wow.
of course,
Truly.
that situation
Mm-hmm.
marked completely was a pivotal situation in my life, and from the rest is history.
Wow. So, I mean, that truly is a remarkable story. And even trying to comprehend how a 10-year-old had the wherewithal to really to banish fear in that moment, truly is incomprehensible. And so, do you think that, having that, I guess, innate knowledge or that innate sense that, and you were going to be okay and you were just going to not, succumb to that fear, would you say that is part of your greatness?
It could be because, of course, we have to discover the greatness that is inside of us. It's like a seed that is
Mm-hmm.
there, dormant,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right situation, waiting for the moment exactly where you allow that seed to grow, because it's permanent. We think that we have different stages like infancy and in our teens, in our adulthood, but we have also in a spiritual mind some different scales. So most of the people think that life happens to them,
Mm.
and the universe is hard, is and people say, well, this is life, this is it, this is what it is, and we have discovered that this is not, that in fact life, the universe is not against us, because when we think like that, we think that we are victims,
Mm-hmm.
and we are victims of everything. And so we begin to blame, is what I call the blame game.
Mm-hmm.
And so we feel that we have to blame the economy, we have to blame the virus, we have to blame the neighbors, we have to blame the dog of the neighbor, you know.
It's a long list. It's a long list of blame. Yeah, yeah. And being
Yes,
stuck in that victimhood. Yeah, it's easy.
yeah.
It's easy for a lot of people, right? It's an easy place to hang out in. It's not a good place
And
to hang out
when
in.
we feel like a victim, then many things happen against us because we kind of attract that situation. The more we blame, the more we complain, the more the universe is going to give us the situations to have more of the same, more to complain, more to blame. And so we have to discover little by little that the universe is in favor for us. So life is happening for us, not against us.
That's a great realization. And I think it can be truly life changing. That one small thing, that one small belief that you can change in the mindset can really change your entire life. And I think that's so important because everybody experiences challenges. And we can either get knocked out completely out from those challenges or we can rise above that. And so, how can someone right now who is experiencing challenge, whatever that challenge looks like, right? Obviously, there's varying degrees, and everybody, handles things differently. But everybody has challenges. So, how can you overcome that? What kind of tools and techniques can you offer that can help somebody really transform that situation into something more positive?
Yeah, yeah. First of all, of course, we have to think that everything in our culture, everything even in religions, make us feel like we are victims. We are a sinner. We are miserable, not worthy of compassion.
Mm.
That everything, and I think that even in the Bible, you can say that there is a lot of not only hope, but also there is a great message there that everything is for us. Even the whole universe is for us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do many things, just to change the mindset that we have. And once we change the mindset that we have, we can even create. So we can be even, instead of only feeling that life is for us, we can think that life also happens with us. We could be co-creators of that. So you may scratch your head and think, okay, well, how come? Because I have a lousy work, I have a lousy partner, I have a lousy income, I have this and this and that. And this is exactly what you are uh, drawing to you. You are attracting to you that situation because you see yourself in a mirror. And when you see yourself in a mirror, what kind of image do you see? So
Mm.
it's such an important thing to change the self-image because the
Yeah.
self-image is exactly what people are going to get from us. Self-image. If I feel, oh, poor me, I am an orphan, poor me, I don't know, I wait for your mercy and wait for your compassion and just feel compassion for me because I am a poor guy, a poor little guy, whatever. But then when you become free from that kind of victimhood, and you discover, because there are ways to discover how you can begin to create things, because we are co-creators. We could create many things with our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yes.
problem, and this is a problem, many adults literally kill the imagination of the children. Pay attention, get real,
Stop
stop
being so loud.
dreaming. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. Wow. And
And
so we're taught
instead
to
of
suppress.
instead of guiding in a different way, and if you add to that limiting beliefs, like for example, great parents could be imposing limiting beliefs in children without even knowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
For example, kids are demanding. We know all of that, and they could be overwhelmingly demanding.
Mhm.
Like, for example, oh, daddy, I have this at hand, and no, not now, not now. I am busy. I am busy. Don't you see that I am in a call, in an important call?
Mhm.
And so, if that situation repeats itself many, many times, then a little child, which in their mind they is black and white. There's no gray, there is no colors. But I
Yeah.
mean, in these situations,
Yeah.
or is yes, or is no, or is black, or is white. So
Mhm.
because they are infants,
Yeah.
so the child could come with the idea, okay, I am not important. What I have is not important for my father. What I have is not important for my mother. I am not important. I am not good enough.
Yes, I
I
think
am
that's one of
not
the biggest
smart enough.
problems.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I will feel fine if you approve what I'm doing. So many, many, many limiting beliefs. And these limiting beliefs are chains that when we want to fly, we cannot,
Mhm.
because we are
Mhm.
defined. We are, as a physician, I say that at least, we are not defined by our genes. We are defined by our limiting beliefs. Because
Yes.
every belief is a limitation. Every belief is a limiting belief.
Yeah,
Every
and
belief.
and there's so many of them, and they accumulate, and then the tougher they are to sort of break them. But there is certainly a way to break them, and we're going to talk more about that when we come back from this break. But stay tuned. There's more ways for you to discover the greatness within, and we promise you, it's there. It's you were born with it. So it's about recognizing, realizing, and letting it come out so that you can reach your full potential. We'll be right back here on the Mindset Mentor on Sauga 960 AM with Dr. Jussi after this break. Stay tuned. Well, hello, and welcome back to the Mindset Mentor on Sauga 960 AM. Today, we are going to help you discover the greatness within. And it certainly is within. I know sometimes you think, well, I just don't have it. I'm not one of those people that was meant to have a great life. That is not true at all. And my special guest joining me, Dr. Jussi, is going to explain how to unlock that greatness within you, how to live the life that you were meant to live. Such a remarkable story, personal story and experiences of Dr. Jussi. He is a wealth of information and knowledge. He's a physician and a mathematician. He is an expert in the field of energy medicine and neuroplasticity. And according to a mutual friend of ours, Peter sums it up perfectly. He says that Dr. Jussi has about 20,000 years of experience and knowledge. So I think that sums it up perfectly, Dr. Jussi.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Peter. Coming from Peter is something typical of
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. But it really, I think, solidifies that you do have, such a great range of knowledge, and your mission is to help people around the world, and you're certainly doing that. So let's try to help people right now how to discover their greatness. It's missing, in our own eyes. It's not missing
Mhm.
within us, it's missing in our eyes. So how do we find that?
The first way is to discover that we have, if we have many problems. People come to us in the sense of when I was working in the clinics, they come with us with a disease, with a problem. My problem is my cat. The problem is my job. The problem is this. The problem, blah blah blah. you know, every person has a problem, and underneath that problem, there is a bunch of patterns of limiting beliefs or things that they have in their lives, the beliefs, the mindset that they have, that is projecting the kind of life that they have. Especially when the person is new into my clinics. Of course, I am not working anymore in clinics because I am doing the programs online.
Mhm.
In this moment, I am just 72 years young.
Wow, wow. And you look amazing, by the way. Truly, you know, whatever you're doing, we want the recipe. We want all that energy that you've bottled up. I think it's so inspiring, you know, at your age to be as active, as inspirational and you know, active. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. The main thing that I saw when I was working in my clinics was to see that people, every single human being, needs to be acknowledged,
Mm,
heard, especially when you are a doctor. And most of the patients that had blames or complaints from coming to any doctor said they don't pay attention to me. They never looked to my eyes. They were even nobody asked me my name. Nobody asked me anything.
yep.
What do you feel? These and these. Okay, take these pills or do this test and come in 15 days or whatever. But
Yes.
when they came to my clinics, because I felt so near to human beings, I feel that I have the vocation to work with people.
Mhm.
I felt that every single patient came into my clinic was my father or my mother or my sister or my brother or my son or my daughter, any person who could be family.
Mhm.
And so when they feel that you acknowledge them, when they feel that you care for them, because people can forget what you said in life, that they never forget how you make them feel.
So true. So important. Everybody wants
Eh,
to feel
eh,
significant and validated and heard. And you know, I think the practice, the industry itself, the health profession can be very cut off from that human connection. And I think some of it's self-preservation. I mean, you can't get emotionally involved with every patient if you want to stay sane yourself, in a sense, right? But I think that is such a big thing. You know, to be more than a number, to be a person, to
yeah,
be heard, to
yeah.
be valued.
So you may ask why or how did I make to avoid getting involved in the emotional state of the person. Of course, you have to prepare yourself. You have to be yourself greater than your body.
Mm,
You have to exert the quality, the enthusiasm, the love, the affection, the interest in that person that overwhelm everything that makes their problem that little. Because if you are compassionate, you have goodness, and they discover that you have goodness, they will feel more validated, and then they will open their hearts to you. And probably that is half the way of healing.
yeah, half
Because
the
when
battle right
when
there.
yeah, because we were trained to get a bunch of symptoms, and with this list of symptoms we say, okay, what you have according to my knowledge, extensive knowledge, is that you have this label. So they label you with something, with a disease,
Mm,
instead of thinking about health. Because of course, if you are validated with a disease, or you are labeled with a disease, you are a victim in that moment.
mm. Yeah, hard to
And
rise above it.
so people have the mentality, okay, I am a victim, I have this disease, please help me. You are my savior, you are my redeemer, you are. So they look for a savior outside of them in that moment.
Mm,
And the true thing is that the true physician is not a healer, actually. Because
okay.
if you cut yourself here, you put a band-aid or you put some stitches there, the stitches or nor the band-aid, it will heal you. They facilitate the healing process. But who really takes care of your healing process is the body, because the body has innate capabilities to heal itself.
Mm-hmm,
And this is, for example, neuroplasticity. See?
Yeah, let's talk about neuroplasticity because it really can, change and alter the brain essentially, which
Hmm.
alters and changes our
Hmm.
entire world.
Hmm. Yeah, because until the 90s, I believe, we believe that you had any problems with cognition, you have any problem with memory, you have any problems with the brain, well, you were stuck there
Hmm.
because nothing you could do. And of course, if you have a stroke or you have this or you have that, nothing you could do, just learn to live with it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And how wrong we were, because we thought, and still, many people think that we only have new connections, new synapses in our brain, but we don't have the capacity to have more neurons. Well, that's not true. We have the capacity of neurogenesis, which is our capacity to build, to create, to have more neurons.
Hmm.
In fact,
Wow.
glial cells are there to support and to help your
Hmm.
neurons.
And so, what about the quality of those cells that we are creating? So, does our mindset affect that? So, if we're stuck in limiting beliefs and we keep repeating patterns, over and over and over again, does the quality of those neurons, those cells, change versus being
Yeah,
positive? Yeah.
yeah, right. Because, for example, if we feel that we are victims and we have to be in a survival mode has a lot of chemicals inside of us, like cortisol, like adrenaline. And so if we are tense, if we are in a lot of stress and everything, we have to fight because we have to compete.
Hmm.
We have to smash our opponent, or we have to smash the competition. Then we are in stress, continuously stress, and we produce more of the same. But when we learn to see that the universe is in favor of us, that we can be co-creators, that we can create a different kind of life,
Hmm.
then we, by certain tools that we give to people, they begin to go and calm themselves and be more creative, because or we are in survival mode or we are in creative mode, or we feel like a victim or we feel like a creator.
Yeah, we
There's no
can't be
middle
in the
ground.
both areas at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or we could be in depression, or we could be in gratitude. Gratitude and depression cannot live in the same room.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. It's so true. And I think it's so easy for people to be stressed, to be overworked. They're overthinking. Just society, I think, has created that perpetual motion and movement. And the more you do, the more you have to have. And, it's a cycle. And so many people are experiencing that stress on a daily basis, on so many different levels. So, what can you do to try to avoid those stresses and to change the capacity to generate better quality neurons in the brain?
Yeah, the first thing is to change our mindset, in the sense of we have tools, different tools, like there's a universal tool that is meditation, for example. We have to learn how to relax ourselves. And
Hmm.
one way is to begin to breathe, not in a superficial way, because we know how to breathe. We are very good on breathing.
Yeah.
The problem is that we sometimes go in a very superficial way. So if we teach our bodies how to breathe with the diaphragm, just inflating our belly, we can say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Then what is, for example, the traits or the way that a person who is in survival mode, how they breathe? They will say, they go fast, and they, and so they are, even the way they see things are like
Mhm.
in alert, in perfect
They're in
alert, and because they are,
high
yeah.
alert always. Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hmm.
But when we relax and then we learn how to breathe, And even we learn how to meditate. Meditation is very simple. You don't have to be a transcendental meditator to have these things. In fact, we can help you baby steps. And if you like to be a very religious person, and prayer is already a meditation.
Well, I think
Unless you pray with like a machine that is like a record, and you don't pay attention to what you are saying. But if you pay attention and you open your heart to God like a friend will do, instead of repeating this wonderful, "Oh my Lord, you are the greatest in all this universe," and whatever, as many people are saying, I say, no, you don't have to do that, because if you go to a friend, you never will address your friend that way in the first place.
Interesting. Okay, interesting.
You have to open. If you come to a person who knows can help you, you open your heart, and then you talk to that person in a very confident way, especially if you trust in that person.
Yeah.
And if that person is wise enough to hear you and to acknowledge you, then there is a lot of communication from heart to heart, and not from lip to ear.
Yeah, they can more readily receive the information, naturally.
And then a miracle happens, that you begin to be relaxed, no more cortisol, the levels of cortisol, the levels of adrenaline goes down, and you begin to produce another kind of neuropeptides, another kind of chemicals in your body, that are hormones of joy, hormones of love, hormones of dopamine, oxytocins, and many others, endorphins, that you are going to produce better quality of tissues in your body, and you are going to see that your health is going to increase, because when you are in survival mode, you are more prone to have a lot of diseases. Stress is a mechanism that is the entrance, the threshold, or for disease. Many diseases are beginning to there, because the common root of many chronic diseases is inflammation.
Yeah.
So stress is really a good factor for inflammation.
I think it's also a good factor to give us a signal that it's time to maybe change what you're doing. Yeah, right. And start facilitating our own way of being and taking control and optimizing our health. We're going to take a break here on Sauga 960. You're listening to The Mindset Mentor, and we will be back with more Dr. Jussi after this break. And hello, and welcome back to the Mindset Mentor on 960 AM. We hope you're having a phenomenal Saturday. In fact, we hope you're having a great Saturday. This is the day that you can discover your greatness within, and it certainly is there. I know sometimes you may not be able to feel it through all the stress and the tension throughout the day, and we're going to continue the conversation with Dr. Jussi joining us. He is going to help you discover your greatness, how to optimize your health, how to optimize your mindset and your focus in order to change your being. And Dr. Jussi, it's such a pleasure to have you, and I'm so excited to continue the conversation with you. So let's just pick it up and keep on going. We're talking about stress and the different chemicals throughout the body, and we really want more of those feel good chemicals. How do we get them?
Yeah. First of all, of course, we have to have certain knowledge, to change. We have to know certain things. And of course, as we say oftentimes, knowledge happens in our mind and experience happens in our bodies. So we become from thinking to doing to being, because the idea is to transform our lives in something different. The idea is to transform our life and to become somebody else. So the first idea to change is to imagine what kind of individual do I want to be, or do I dream to be, or do I love to be. And then second, you have to describe the qualities that person could have, the habits that person could have, the words that person that could speak, the thoughts, and many things, all the surroundings, all the environment that makes around that person that you want to be. And when you define exactly what kind of person you want to be, you have to begin to imagine that person, to describe that person, to think and to imagine all that person that you want to be. And by beholding, by having that image in our minds, we begin to experience a different chemistry in our bodies.
Mm-hmm. And so I understand
It,
that, the brain doesn't know the difference, right, between what is actually real or imagined.
right, because what we see outside is by the senses, by the eyes, by the ears, by all the senses that we have. And those senses pick the image or the sound or the taste or the odor or whatever, or the feeling, and translate that with what we call transductors into the brain, because the language of the brain is frequencies, not English, not Japanese, not Spanish, not German. It's frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
That's why if we go to Japan or Argentina or Africa and Mombasa or whatever, then we go with a music. People feel in that music romantic, or feel peace, or feel joy, or according to the music. And that's how Hollywood uses music to enhance certain scenes
Yeah.
in a feature film.
Yeah. To evoke a certain emotion.
Right. So we can do that. We have tools like in the frequencies, in soundtracks, that help people to go into deeper states of meditation or relaxation or focus and concentration, to study even deeper and faster than in going to super learning activities, in super learning states or level. So we have these kind of tools that help people, and while they are repeating these conditions, new chemicals, new tissues, new neurons, new connections are going to be made in your body, in your mind, in your system.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have this kind of when you are worried, even the juices in the stomach begins to erode the walls of the. But if you are calm and you are digesting in a very simple and easy and calm way, then the food will nourish you instead of poison you.
Wow.
See.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So, when it comes to frequency, so those sound frequencies that you have available that people can listen to, and I'd love you to share your website as well, where they can find that. Actually, it's a good time right now to just tell us what's your website, Dr. Jussi.
Yeah, they can go to vibrantresults.com.
Vibrant
Vibrant and
Results. Okay.
dot
Awesome.
com. Yeah,
.com. So
yeah.
let's talk about some of those frequencies. So those are sound frequencies. Now you're an expert in the field of energy medicine. So is it sound frequency with binaural beats, or do you use laser frequency as well, or other types of frequency?
Yeah, many types of frequencies we use, and there is a lot of binaural, isochronic frequencies and everything. And we have developed technology that I call envelopes, in the way that, for example, we have to have a microphone in order to be heard in a ballroom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to be heard in another city or in another country, we use radio frequencies
Yes.
as carriers of that sound, or that message. Well, to go inside, also we create something that we call envelopes. So if you go and want to send some documents to another person, documents and pictures, and certain things that you have to sign or whatever, of course we can do it right now digitally.
Mm-hmm.
But of course we have also their kind of envelopes. Of course, it's a digital envelopes.
Oh, envelope.
But
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But if you go to think in the ancient way of of sending
Sending,
mail,
yeah, snail
you had
mail.
to get some envelopes to put your
Mm.
documents or to put your pictures or to put everything. And if you had something breakable, because it's physical, like a record or something, you have to use a special envelope for that.
Mm-hmm.
So the receiver will open that envelope, and you will have then the documents and the records and everything in perfect condition.
So
Yeah.
as
So
we're receiving information then through energy frequency, we want to be open to receiving that information
mhm.
properly.
Yeah, correct. And so the mind, the body will use that information in a proper way. So we can induce that person that is in anxiety or in panic attack or even in many things. We can use this modality. We are helping people with Parkinson, for example. Yeah, we know that problem with Parkinson is the dopamine, lack of dopamine in certain circuits. Not because they really lack dopamine, because they think, oh, they lack dopamine, so let's give more dopamine.
Yeah.
Well, that is not the case. Probably dopamine doesn't reach the point because there is no connection. And oftentimes I give the illustration, like for example, you go into your home and you want to put the light in a room, and then you click. Oh, there's no light. Oh, apparently the bulb is gone. So let me change it. So you change that and click. Oh, nothing happens. So let me test these bulbs in another lamp. Oh, they are good. So that happens is that there is no electricity then in that room. So let's put more electricity in that room. So we burn everything in our homes
Yeah.
because we put more electricity. Well, that is not the case. The idea is to find out if there is a circuit that is open. There's no connections. Well, that oftentimes that happen in our brain when signals become distorted, or we have some problems in our brain that disconnect those synapses, disconnect those circuits. And so we don't get the information properly. And that's how a person who has Parkinson begins to shake without any control, or stammer, or they talk like that, for example. See?
Yeah.
And so if we have certain modalities, like with dance and certain type of music with certain frequencies, will make for the missing frequencies and will make these circuits come back again in a very simple way. And you see the result is like a miracle. Oh, that person is dancing now, look. And he couldn't even walk before, well, and now is dancing. But the good thing is that the results are lasting. That's
Well,
the beauty of these.
yeah, and that's remarkable. I know, in our last call, you showed me some video, and I saw that and the transformation by putting the music on in a patient who had Parkinson's, and it truly is unbelievable to see that. So there is such incredible energy and power in frequency healing, and that's good news because we can actually have control. We can listen to frequency, and again, you've developed some specific ones that can help in specific situations. And again, can you tell us the website? I know we're out of time. We've got just a couple of minutes, so you can tell us how to find you, and then one last bit of advice that you'd like to offer everyone.
Yeah, they can connect with me in info@vibrantresults.com. Very simple, info@vibrantresults.com, and they can go to vibrantresults.com and see a program that is called the Genius Code, where you can
Mm.
find the genius that is inside of you, waiting for you to come back.
Yes.
And that's it. And so you come back there and find exactly the many modalities and tools that we have. And it's so simple because they are not invasive. They are very gentle. And and the good thing that people are, all our subscribers have, I mentioned to them, I am a click away from you.
A click
And
away.
they feel that I am a friend because I want to treat every person like a friend, like family. And I even threaten them, say, for example, once you are under my wings, you are in trouble because it's very difficult to get rid of me.
Ah, yeah, there you go, right? And they're like, thanks for the warning. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Jussi, and helping to transform lives and helping us to change the way that we think, the way that we create, and the way that we perform. I know that that is your mission. And so continue doing what you're doing. And thank you so much. And for sharing your great energy and, of course, your beautiful experiences, your knowledge, your
Thank you.
story, and your vulnerability. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
All right. And that's a wrap for today's show. And we want to make sure that you discover your greatness. Remember that it is there. It's not something that you need to create. You just have to let it out and find it. All right. So tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. for the next Mindset Mentor.